Hi, everybody. My goodness, am I late? I got wrapped up in the violin, so I'm sorry I'm late for brunch. I went back to books 1 and 2 of Suzuki Violin. For those people who are learning to play a musical instrument, they have books 1, 2, first year, second year, third year, fourth year. And because I'm neurotic, I forced my teacher to take me all the way to book 4 before I was ready. And I was all neurotic and crazy. And of course, the teacher fired me, which I totally deserved. And now I'm back looking at the basics of the violin. So I spent, a couple weeks just drilling myself on book 1 so that I was really confident in book 1, which is first year. Hi, Wendy. And I've gone through book 1, not the easy stuff, not Twinkle Twinkle, that's a waste of my time, but I'm talking about like the last 10 pages of book 1. I think I've gone through it about 20, 30 times, like at least. And I've gone through book 2 5 or 6 times and book 3 about 2 or 3 times at least. So it takes a while. How are all of you? Anyway, so I'm back at book 2 and I got wrapped up in Bach's Musette. And when I looked, it was 11:01, and I hadn't put on a lipstick. I just got out of a bath. I did that Pau d'Arco, a very nice. Who sent me the Pau d'Arco soak? Whoever you are, thank you. I did your Pau d'Arco soak that you sent me. Was that Teresa or Pamela, or who sent me? I want to thank you because I did that soak. And somebody sent me those shower things with the essential oil, and it has magnesium and essential oil. I break them in half and put them in the bath, and then I sit and soak, and I smell amazing afterwards. Shower steamers. Yes, they go a long way if you put them in your bath. You don't need to use a whole one. You can use a quarter or half, and then it lasts forever. And then you can soak and smell like roses. Whoever you were who sent me that, thank you so much, the bath streamers, because I use them and I take probably 3 or 4 baths a week and just soak in those puppies. So, and they have essential oil of chamomile, rose, which is my favorite, gardenia, which I think I did this morning. I did a Pau d'Arco sack that the person sent me. Thank you also to Teresa, who sent me all of the herbs. I absolutely love them. She sent me dried rose petals, bay leaves. Oh, you're very sweet, Wendy. Yeah, I love the magnesium. So I love baths more than showers. Like I just like to lie there like a little queen. So one thing I don't like about visiting places that don't have a lot of water is you go in, you take a 3-5 minute shower and you're out, and it's just like I just like to sit. I'm such a lazy girl. I just oops. What is that? I've got something on me. What is that? Anyway, how are all of you? I wanted to say also to send prayers to Joel Tilson. He is not here today. He is dealing with family issues, and so we're not able to have him here. So we send love to Joel Tilson and thank him for coming in and being such a great floor director, making sure that everybody's questions get answered. Let's go ahead and make a couple of announcements. For starters, if you're a member of our Book of the Month Club, any of you can join it. We get together once a month on Taco Tuesdays, and we praise independent book writers. And this month we'll be doing Maybe Next Time Around. It's a reincarnation story written by Sylvia Sullivan. Author Sylvia Sullivan attended University of South Carolina. Very nice. Chanel Shaw had no idea when she went to work in medical media at NCU that she would find her ancient lover there. Ooh, this sounds so good. I'm already drawn into this. Dr. Ash Lawson begins flirting with her from the moment she arrives and expects him to follow through any day, but something always seems to hold him back. Chanel begins to understand why when she discovers Reiki, an ancient Oriental healing method, and encounters a soon-to-be mentor, Arthur Book, and an enchanting woman with an access to the fairy world. Anyway, it goes on and on. So if you love those kinds of books, I certainly do. Romance and metaphysics and a strong female lead, totally up my alleyway. Chuck and I will be hopefully having Sylvia Sullivan in our studios next month. Other announcement is that our fundraiser is the World Central Kitchen. For those people who don't know, WCK offers food to people in need who are suffering from war, famine, disease. They're currently in Gaza helping with the aid there. As many of you know, some of the people in Gaza in certain areas have food scarcity. So we will be raising money to make sure that the food goes directly to the people and is not hijacked by criminals. One of the things that's been happening in Gaza is that the innocent people of Gaza cannot get the food because it keeps getting stolen by, jerks. All kinds of jerks. There are lots of jerks all over the world. And then they steal the food, and then the people have to come up with large sums of money to buy the food, which of course they don't have because it's a war zone. So people like Jose Andres, they go into places like this. They risk their own lives. You can see he's got a bulletproof jacket on. And the kind of dedication that somebody like this has makes me really have faith in humanity's goodness. And so we support his work in Gaza and throughout the world. And so if you would like to help feed the people in Gaza and other parts of the world that are struggling, please think about making a donation to the World Central Kitchen. And I know that Jose Andres and his team are going to be very, very grateful. And I know the people of Gaza will be very grateful. So thank you for that. All right. Without further ado, let's go ahead. We'll turn the camera around and see what's going on with you. We have a new member. Susan Johnson 145 has become a new member. And so whether she likes it or not, we're going to be singing. Hey, hey, Susan Johnson 145. Hey, Susan Johnson 145. Thank you for being a member. That is your very own song. I wrote it just for you. Ooh, I see that Joel is here. I wonder if he asked the questions and then ran out the door. I know he had some other commitments. Anyway, thank you so much, Susan. We always like to show gratitude to the people who become members. We know you can become a member of many other channels. So the fact that you've decided to join ours is not taken for granted. And so we honor you, Susan. Thank you so much. Sheila Davidson, hello, welcome. Thank you for being here. Hello to Deborah. Welcome, Deborah. Intuitive Kathy is here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, we'll get to all of the questions. Want to give a shout out to Throw task backwards. Terry Gallant. Hello, my love. How are you? Hi, Ann Dillon. Shalom. Tina Endez is in the house. Hello. 1971. Brenna is in the house. The beautiful Joyce Beatrice will be with us today, making sure that everybody is watching their P's and Q's. She is one of our moderators, so be nice to her. As is Desire 35 Able. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you would like to be a moderator for the channel and help keep it kosher, let us know. Hi, Rhett. How you doing? How you doing? JR is in the house. Welcome. Alex is in the house, as is the amazing Wendy Burt. She, of course, also is a moderator, and we're very happy to have her here. Hello to Dan Genie with the beautiful hair. You do have beautiful hair. Okay, so let's get into it. My name is Whimsy, and I am here having brunch with you. I am here to help create a beautiful world. Just live, that is my motto. Let's start to live a little. Now, has everybody heard about this TikTok woman? There was a TikTok woman. She was talking about struggling to get ahead, and it really got to me. Have you seen this? Let me see if I can find this. Oh, Elon is sharing his fantasies again. You guys wanted to know about Elon Musk and his sex fantasies, right? So his sex fantasies, I thought I would talk about that. Everybody has a fantasy. His are very, very romantic, and which is why I never thought he was into the creepy stuff, because he has this very innocent like that he's going to come and be your prince in shining armor. And he's very romantic. He's an extremely romantic person. And so I think if you want to get to know his fantasies, that's pretty much it right there. Okay. Yeah. So, he's the prince on the white horse. His fantasies are very, they're very vanilla, actually. We all have an inner part of ourselves, and some people have really, really kinky sides, and other people, they kind of see themselves as a knight. I'll come save you, my my damsel in distress. So, some people have that fantasy of they perceive of themselves as the person who's going to come and sweep you off your feet and, be your prince, which is kind of cool because I think that those are kind of young, innocent fantasies that a lot of people have when they're, when they're young. And they're kind of vanilla fantasies too. But it's also a desire that the other person see you as their salvation. So there's that aspect. You have to also think of it as, if that's your fantasy, then your alter ego or sense of self is somebody who is the knight in shining armor that's going to whisk you off your feet. And then when you no longer are seen as the one who's going to, take you and sweep you off your feet, then all of a sudden it's not fun anymore for them, because they're no longer, the fantasy is also that they be perceived of as, the knight in the white horse. So this is kind of So we all have these aspects to us where we have the inner self, and then we have the outer self. The part of us that we show the world, and then the part of us that we keep hidden, which I think is kind of cool. And then you think of, when we think of intimacy, we think of intimacy as a chance to show that part of ourselves to people that we may not be able to, that show to the rest of the world. So that's kind of interesting. It's an interesting app, Grok Imagine, where you're able to create these imaginary images of yourself, or imaginary stories in pictures. You can also take a picture. There's amazing things that are happening in AI, but they're also very dangerous if you think of it from a political perspective, because you can get the photograph to do anything. You can get it to, particularly if you have a voice, you can control the voice, and then you can get the politician to say or do anything. And it's becoming so advanced. The concern is that we won't be able to tell the difference. And so it's fun for the average person to be able to create these images with Grok, but Grok is not the only one. There's several different apps now that are able to do this. But I think what's scary for a lot of people is this idea that it's becoming harder and harder to tell what's fantasy versus what's reality. Agree? Disagree? What you thinking? Scary times we live in. You can also take a photograph of yourself. Say you take say there's a photograph of you that was taken from, 30, 40, 50 years ago, and you're just posing with your family, people who maybe have died. You can program these apps to start to oh, what are we going to do with you? You can start to program these apps to create these images of yourself, as you would imagine yourself, or your inner self as you see yourself, which I think is also kind of interesting. Creating dreamscapes or images of yourself as you see. Right? So it goes back to this idea of what is real. What is real? And, what are we learning from artificial intelligence in general? Is we're not just learning about ourselves through artificial intelligence, but we're also beginning to question what's real. Is this physical world real, or are we actually entering into worlds that are not physical in nature through these apps? Which you can put on a headphone, right? You can put on these what are they called? These virtual reality headsets. I couldn't get mine to work. I sent it back. I bought one through Amazon. I was like, how does this thing work? What a waste of time. I don't have time for fantasy. I'm too busy living in this world, right? But that's cool. Oh, right. So let's see what you all think. Yeah, he's a romantic. Somebody, he's vanilla. Somebody said, oh, he's too vanilla. Yeah. The big fantasy of Elon Musk is that he's shockingly vanilla. His fantasy is, I shall save you, my damsel. Yes. You don't need to be saved? No, I'm good. That's not the fantasy. And that's kind of interesting too, because it means that the only person you would be able to be attracted to would be someone who's helpless, desperate, and in need of being saved. Right? Yeah, there's a couple of these. He actually does. He's really quite an amazing creator. He's also going through a lot of soul searching right now. I still have hope for him that he's going to get off the drugs and all this crazy. Oh my God. I believe, I believe people can change. And, so all of us are capable of redemption. Agree or disagree? Or do you think there's a point? Do you think there's a point when it's too late? What do you think? Discuss. Discuss, discuss, discuss. I think when you kill someone, like some of the stuff that Doge did in terms of denying aid to people, that's the point of no return. That's the point when I think you can't really salvage yourself. Forgetting somebody's birthday, that's one thing. But I think it's an interesting app for creating art, and I think it's an interesting app to give us a window into people's inner selves. Right? Who they are or who they perceive of themselves to be, or the inner part of themselves that they're trying to connect with, right? Have you guys ever created avatars? And if so, have you ever experimented with things like Second Life? And how do you see yourself in these alternate worlds? Do you see yourself as a savior? Do you see yourself as a romantic hero? What are your fantasies? And do you find a way to express them in these alternate worlds in ways you may not be able to express them here in this world? So that's the other interesting thing about these fantasies or these alternate, these things that we create is that they give people an opportunity to explore maybe a part of themselves that we don't get to live like this in this world, right? And so there has to be some place where we can be this part of ourselves, you know. I know, total vanilla for those people that were hoping to get something raunchy from Elon Musk. Not into porn. No, people that have dated him. That's pretty much it. I know you're disappointed. You were hoping it would be much creepier. All right, l'chaim, good to see everybody. So what you eating, what you drinking, where you coming from? I'm here in beautiful Portland, Oregon. I started my day at 7:30 in the morning with an old coffee cup on my table getting knocked over by my cat announcing that she was ready for breakfast. Yeah, and then it spilled onto the bed, and so the brand new sheets are now dirty, but my fat cat got her breakfast, so there you go. Cheers, everybody. Okay, so without further ado, oh, we got some nice meals coming in here. Alex is having Greek salad with oil and red vinegar. That sounds absolutely delicious. The problem with the Greek cheese here in the United States is it's usually made with cow and it's not made with sheep's cheese like the Bulgarian. I love the cheeses we get in Israel. Like they have the soft feta Bulgarian. It's creamy, and evidently it's a lot easier to digest too. Sheep's cheese has some benefits that cow's milk, it's a little bit less inflammatory. It's one of the things that, if you look at the writings of Edgar Casey, sheep's cheese and goat's cheese was healthier. You know what's interesting? I was reading about Edgar Casey. He actually, his discoveries or what he was channeling is found, is it's factually correct. He was like doing this stuff nearly 100 years ago before we had modern medicine or even had discovered what folate was, right? Um, Yet he already knew you should go on a predominantly plant-based diet. He knew that cow's milk was more allergic and harder to digest than goat and cheese. That's my complaint. You know, you can't go to a store here and just buy some Greek feta because it's not Greek feta. It says feta, but and then you look and the ingredient is cow. So it doesn't have the anti-inflammatory benefits that you would get from a true Bulgarian feta or Greek feta. So that's really frustrating. And it's hard and it's just not the creamy. I think because it's more I think because it's much cheaper to make. So, but getting the good, authentic Bulgarian cheeses, um, or the Greek is really hard. I think you can get it at Whole Foods and maybe a Greek supply store if you've got one in your town. They've got them in Los Angeles. Papa, what's his name? Papa something. It's a Greek restaurant that sells Greek products, and oh, I told Elon when he decided to go with Trump that Trump was going to go down as the most hated president, and he was going to go down right with him. He laughed at me. Yeah, he's a child. He's a romantic boy who wants to say, I shall save you, my damsel in distress, right? That's really pretty much it. And that's very sexy if you want to be saved and carried off. And I certainly have those fantasies, right? You know, want to be carried off. But the older I get and the more it's like, oh, hell, I'll take out the trash. You always do it wrong, right? You know, once you become a competent adult, and it's like, I don't need to be rescued. You look like you need to be rescued. Your diet is crap. His brother is a health freak. You know his brother. What's his brother's name? Kimball. He's also a liberal, huge liberal. You know, he's our kind of people, Kimball. Kimball's like, I love my brother. I'm just going to leave it at that. But he and his wife are all about food acquisition and how to get healthy, nutritious food. And also how it gets from the farm to the table. And he says that he takes his Airstream with his wife and he goes to visit Elon and they cook him nutrient dense foods, salads and nutrient dense food, and they feed him. And then as he's leaving his brother, he thinks to himself, what the hell does this guy do when we're not here? Like, he doesn't even think about food. He's just, oh, food? It's like, how care about your brain, care about your health. This is the whole idea of just live, just live. Let's think about that as a theme, right? Just live. What are you doing to just live? And, or are we living, is life so difficult that it's no longer sustainable for most of us? A lot of people feel that life in the United States uh, trouble getting by. There was a there was a woman who she did a TikTok. I wish I could find it because it really had an impact on me, and it really made I think about it a lot since I've seen it, but she was saying that she had to decide whether or not to get food to eat or gas to get to work. And she bought just enough groceries to be able to feed herself. And now she doesn't have the money to get to work. And so it makes me think about what can we do to help people live better. I wish I could find it. I don't even know how to find it, but it definitely, I definitely am thinking about her. And I'm thinking, I have a channel called Broke Aristocrats, and I don't have as much time as I would like to put stuff up, but I wish that I could do more stuff to help people just live, because she had a full-time job, she has a part-time job, and she doesn't have enough gas money to get to the job. Now that's being trapped. That's being trapped. Think about that. You're working to pay for the car and the gas to get to the job you hate. So how can we turn that around and just live? How can we deconstruct and think about those things that are going to help you and me live our best lives? What does that look like to you? Does that mean getting back to the garden, which I've since discovered requires a car, which is why I didn't move to the country, because I don't drive. Well, that's not going to work. I don't drive. I'm stuck in the city. All right, let's go ahead. We'll do the Empath prayer. Ooh, Cheetah is having an egg white spinach and red pepper frittata. Well, I haven't eaten yet, but I will be prepping a green smoothie made with protein and greens. It's going to be 1 scoop of protein and greens by Paradise, 1 scoop of Tonic Alchemy by Dragon Herbs for extra antioxidants and superfoods. I pump up with superfoods. Those adaptogenic herbs and longevity herbs that I like. Then I'm going to put some hemp seeds in there, some walnuts in there, and some flax seeds in there. And then I'm going to put a scoop of gelatin, grass-fed gelatin in there. Then I'm going to put some frozen organic berries of strawberries, blueberries, and I got some blackberries as well. Bottom and then froze them. And then I'm going to put 1/4 of a banana in there. And then I'm going to fill it with a little bit of ice and some oat milk, unsweetened. And then I'm going to blend up this powerhouse. I might throw in some greens as well. And that usually gives me 16 to 20 ounces, right? Because it's a lot of stuff. And then I pour it into a glass and I drink 2.5 glasses of that over like a 30-minute to an hour period. Take it with my vitamins. I'm on Women's Over 50 by Thorne Research, 3 capsules. And I take DHEA, longevity, precursor hormone, for adrenal support, 25 milligrams. And then I take my vitamin D. There you go. And I go off and I conquer the world. And sometimes I take a mineral tablet from Bluebonnet, multi-mineral without iron. I pop one because most of my minerals come from food. I'm not big on loading up with calcium because of calcifications on the heart. And many parts of the world, people are just focusing on the magnesium and getting calcium from other sources. Yeah. All right. So without further ado, let's see here. A friend sent me the Patreon Plus Greens powder 10 days ago. Sent me the protein and greens powder 10 days ago. I like it. Thank you for the recommend. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, take a look at the ingredients. I don't make money from these companies. It's just that I'm really meticulous in terms of what I recommend when I was in the health industry. And when I looked at the ingredients, I thought, oh my gosh, this has, this is it has sea vegetables. Now, let's face facts. Us Westerners don't like sea vegetables, and yet they're so important. We're not going to be chewing on seaweed, most of us. So it has that. It also has the agaricus, the maitake, these mushrooms that are associated with decreased risk of cancer. So sea vegetables for thyroid help, radiation protection, anti-cancer mushrooms, or what we call the medicinal mushrooms, the greens, and the green leafy vegetables, and the fruits as well. So I think they said it was 24 servings of fruits and vegetables in one scoop. That's insane. So the ORAC value, or its oxidative radical free radical absorption capacity, it's a capacity to minimize free radicals in the body, is something like 40,000, which is extremely high. And then if you add greens and omegas to it, and then if you're taking a bioavailable multivitamin, like from Thorne Research or Pure Encapsulations, which are triple tested, FDA approved, and hypoallergenic, which is why I go to those two companies and they're prescription grade. Doctors use them. You're probably going to be in the top one, and you're eating a mostly plant-based diet. You're in the top 1 percentile for nutrition. So when we think about just live, we mean live. I'll be in Guatemala in 10 days, right? And so what I do when I go to other countries is I pack nutrient-dense snacks, so I'm never in a situation where I'm eating garbage. People that just go and eat street food randomly, and it's fun, it looks neat, but I'm thinking to myself, heart attacks are not neat and fun. And yeah, they're having a great time and they're eating pork, on the streets. It's like, I'm not putting that crap in my body. So I try to pack things like some green powders. You can pack that with you. And snacks from Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's has some nice trail mixes and nuts and seeds you can pack. You got to bring your Skinny Pop or something like that, so you got some popcorn while you watch your movies. But those things are a really great idea. And then you can just go get yourself some unsweetened plant milk when you're in whatever every country has plant milk. And you can just make sure you get your greens that way. And then I use Happy Cow. I don't know. Have you guys seen the Happy Cow app? Happy Cow is, I think this is a great way if you're looking for places where you can get vegan and healthy food on the road, no matter where you are in the world. Just check out the app Happy Cow. So you say I'm going to Guatemala. Guatemala City, right? Did I spell that right? Why does it look like it's wrong? Oh, Guatemala. My spelling. It's always Guatemala. Guatemala City. So then you punch in Guatemala City, and then it's going to give me all these wonderful restaurants. And it's also going to tell me, I love buffets, by the way, where you can make your own salad. Um, and then they give you the price point. Oh, a quinoa pizzeria. That looks really interesting. Moonrise comida vegana. Ooh, that looks really good. Are those French fries? Oh my God, that looks so good with a tempeh burger. I love tempeh burgers. Mr. Taco. Oh, I'm totally there. So you guys can decide where to send me. How's that sound? Coffee District, Guatemala. Look at that. I can get myself a matcha with some oat milk or almond milk. Yum, yum. Georgina's Goods. So plenty of places for dim sum. Oh my God. How exciting. La Rosa Cayela. Wild. Look at that. Wild has vegan options, and you can see, look, it's got that cheese that we like. Sacred Food of Gaia. We've got to try that out. So yeah, so this is how you do it. And it's also a great way to if you don't know where you are and you want to keep your life affordable, remember rice and beans is usually the cheapest thing on the menu. So that's a nice way to do it as well. All right, we're going to go ahead and do the empath prayer. We will give you all a collective reading. If any of you would like to receive a healing at this time, we'll include you in our prayers so that you and those you love can receive a healing. Any other announcements I need to make before I do the empath prayer? Mix it with guacamole. That's not a bad idea. There are people that have done that, and they've also sprinkled it on soups, sprinkle it in, put it in your hummus, and make green hummus. Yeah, it's totally doable. It doesn't have to be in a shake. You can sprinkle protein and greens on top of a hummus, or whip it in. You can sprinkle it on top of a soup. You can sprinkle it on your croutons. I've seen people do that. Mm-hmm. Yep. Lentil and rice recipes with onions cooked in olive oil, a little cumin, and salt. Oh, yeah. I'm right there with you. That sounds delicious. I found a vendor yesterday. I was at the market getting my vegetables, and he was making tempehs that were without soy because you get tired of doing one thing. And he had one that was chickpeas and brown rice. So I bought one of them, a tempeh of chickpea and brown rice. And then he had another one of black bean and quinoa. So I had the black bean quinoa last night. It was so darn delicious. And I sauteed that with some shoyu and ginger. And I put some purple cabbage in there, onions and carrots. And I had that with a combination of brown rice and quinoa that I cook up. It's people have asked if they're concerned about the arsenic in rice. No, if you go with an organic, it usually doesn't contain much. And a cup or two a day is well below toxic levels. And you rinse your rice, and that takes care of a lot of it just by rinsing the rice. Rinsing and boiling the rice reduces it. And then if you're increasing your protein by adding 50% quinoa, that's also dramatically reducing it. So, and it's also increasing your protein. Yeah. So that's how it's done. In terms of saving money, I've talked in Broke Aristocrats about building a pantry for yourself so that you have the basic things in your home for a whole foods plant-based diet, but you can start small. But a sack of brown rice and a thing of lentils is very, very inexpensive. Frozen vegetables are very, very inexpensive. And you can go to these discount stores and you can buy a packet of curry or a packet of garlic for 99 cents a buck. And it's not bad. It's not bad. It's not, there are really, you can make your own bread. That's the other thing. If you're really trying to save money, is get yourself some whole wheat flour and make your own bread. Sweeten it with a little honey or not at all. Yeah. Get back to the earth. If they can afford to eat this way in India, we can afford to eat this way. And then you can add an animal protein that is low fat if you feel you need an animal protein on top of that and say, doctor, I need a little extra protein. So what I do is I have tell people to boil the egg so that you're not frying it. And you can have some boiled eggs around. Skim mozzarella cheese is the healthiest cheese, or low-fat yogurt. Low-fat cottage cheese are also healthy protein options. Canned sardines are relatively inexpensive. Tuna in water occasionally. You don't want to, it does have mercury in it, so you want to have it judiciously. And I find if you eat that way, it's below the national average. Yeah. There you go. All right, without further ado, let's bring in the Empath's prayer. Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, as a community, we say, Amen. And for those of you who are requesting a healing today for yourselves and for those you love, we come together as a collective and we pray. We pray that you and those you love receive a perfect healing in mind, body, and in spirit. And together again, we say, Amen, Amen, Amen. May all souls be healed. May all souls be healed. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming together with me to create a beautiful world and a beautiful space. I love the space that we've co-created, and I thank you for that. I appreciate you for being a part of that. All right, let's give you a collective reading. This reading applies to you at the time you see the video. If you haven't had a chance to like, share, or subscribe to the stream, I'd really appreciate it. This is our Sunday brunch where we hang out, we have breakfast together or brunch together, and we share tarot readings and conversation. It's pretty informal, and we're glad you're here. What is the message for the group today? What is the message for the group today? All right, where you're at right now is Six of Pentacles. We are wanting justice. One of the biggest acts of damage. One of the things that has most damaged the United States is that the political nature of things, us versus them, the biggest problem with that is that it has convinced you and me that the other side is evil or the other side is bad. And this needs to be corrected. This is the first thing that needs to be corrected because people are making money on the fight. It's like Merriweather versus so and so. Come in and take a look at the fight. So if you're making money getting people to fight, if you're making money on sensationalism that promotes the fight, then you're going to want to keep the fight going because the fight makes you money, right? So the problem with that is that I'm just checking my stream here. The problem with that, just checking to see. Oh, good. We've raised $105 for the World Central Kitchen. I just wanted to give gratitude to that. I wanted to acknowledge that. Are you tuning into people that are demonizing the other side? Are you tuning into people that are demonizing the other side and getting you to hate the other side and have negative thoughts about the other side, etc.? What is the implication to your mental and spiritual health when we do that? We start thinking that the other side is evil rather than the possibility that the other side thinks that you're evil, right? So I don't want to watch that stuff anymore. I'm not interested in, oh, this guy is terrible, that guy is terrible, this girl is horrible. It doesn't interest me. I want to move towards the concept of just live and what it means to just live and to live in peace and harmony. And how can I live in peace and harmony? And this is a beautiful world if you so choose to be a part of it and to contribute to the good. So that's kind of the direction that I'm moving in. But the base card here is the Six of Pentacles, which is a desire to have balance, justice, and truth, and to serve others. And this increasing feeling of Nine of Wands that it's becoming increasingly difficult for people to just live. Which is why I started groups like Broke Aristocrats, because I want people to live, even though we don't have a lot of money, or if you're living hand to mouth, or whatever the situation is. I believe that the truth of the matter is the best things in life are free. They really don't cost a lot of money. And there are ways for us to live our best life without feeling like we're on our way to be out on the streets. And starting with just looking at our budgets and thinking about how we can prioritize those things that bring us joy. When was the last time you were sitting in a park or in nature, letting nature feed your soul? When was the last time you did that? When was the last time you took the time to listen to mantras and listen to positive, uplifting music while you organized your kitchen and cleaned your home? There's great satisfaction that comes from that. When was the last time you cooked yourself a nutrient-dense meal and shared it with other people? When was the last time you had a potluck? Potlucks are great because that's how regular people, I grew up in Oregon, and I'm surprised people don't do potlucks anymore. What happened to potlucks? People used to get married with potlucks. What the hell is this crap with all these $50,000 weddings? What happened to the good old-fashioned potluck in the backyard? People used to have a potluck. You know, people, one person would make the groom's cake, one person would make the bride's cake, or it would be a group of people that would contribute the flour, the sugar to the bride and the groom to make the cakes. And then one person might make a casserole, and one person might bring a watermelon. One person might bring a banjo and a violin, and it would be like a hoedown, right? So that was how I grew up. I was raised in a family that had very little money, and this was how we did things. And we loved it because we got to try other people's cooking, right? So and so is, we had, they had a birthday party for me when I was a kid. I still remember that because we had a next door neighbor who was Greek, and she made a massive spanakopita pie and brought it to the party. And I thought it was the most delicious thing I'd ever eaten in my entire life, because my first boyfriend when I was 9 or 10 was Nick Sparopoulos. And his mother cooked us a big spinach spanakopita pie, right? And so how can we get back to that? Because this energy of 9 of Wands is to feel as if you have the world coming in on you. 9 of Wands. You don't have to be vegan. You know, it's just that vegan is the cheapest, and it's food that everybody can eat. It's halal, it's kosher, Buddhist can eat it. And so, for example, if you visit a Sikh temple, as I have done, it's vegan food. Everything is vegan. It's bean curry and rice and naan. And so it's halal. So a Muslim can visit, a Jew can visit, anybody can visit and eat the food. I think they might have had yogurt on the side. If you want yogurt, it's a choice. But it's just a wonderful, and everybody comes and communally donates the rice and the beans, and everyone comes together and cooks the meal, and they feed hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people in the Sikh temples on Sunday. So that would be an example. So service work, caring for those who are less vulnerable than ourselves, creating the world we want to live in. Do you have people in your life that you can do that with? When was the last time you participated in a picnic where everybody brought something? Could you create something like that? Because if we want to create a beautiful world, we have to know how to create it for ourselves and then share it with the world. I don't like this energy of the 9 of Wands, because the 9 of Wands is to feel trapped and cornered. And a lot of people are feeling that way right now. Don't buy more house than you can afford. Don't assume you're always going to have this salary. Your salary could get worse. Yeah, good point from Dandelion. I want everybody, I don't drink alcohol, so I don't have problems with anyone who wouldn't be drinking alcohol. If a Muslim came to my home, they would be able to enjoy a nice meal because it's halal, it's kosher, and I don't serve alcohol. So I want my home to be a place. I have many Muslim friends, Jewish friends, Buddhist friends. I want everybody to be able to enjoy a meal with me. You know, I'm cool like that, right? I'm cool like that. All right. So where we are right now is 10 of Cups, the happy family. What does family mean to you? Because if the theme today is just live, then the question you have to ask yourself is, are you living? And what does that look like to you? That's why I showed you that silly art from, well, it's not silly. It means something to Elon Musk, right? Like he has this romantic image of himself, right? This idea of what brings us joy, and it's usually the simple things. It's these simple hokey things. It doesn't matter if you're the richest man alive. Most of us, our fantasies are actually pretty vanilla for the most part. It's important for us not to judge somebody who may be on the other side of our political stream. I was watching something where somebody was vehemently opposed to a woman's right to choose because he really believed that babies were being murdered, right? I don't feel that way. I think it's, a clump of cells without a consciousness. It will evolve into becoming a person. So I don't hold that particular belief. But by understanding that that person has that belief, it helps me understand that this is not a bad person. This is a good person who simply looks at the world differently than I do. 10 of Cups is about a happy family. It's about the idea of creating a beautiful family for ourselves in terms of what that looks like to you, right? What does that look like to you? And it may not be a biological family, but it's those people that can get together and share recipes and music and friendship and serve a purpose higher than yourself. When we talk about living below our means and we talk about being broke aristocrats, we're not talking about you giving up your dreams. Quite the opposite. Golda Meir was a broke aristocrat. Golda Meir, who was a Democratic socialist, I think she was related to Bernie Sanders. His ideas come from people like Golda Meir. She had one dress. She had one dress. She was very poor. And she would wash the dress at night and lay it out in front of the fire. And in the morning it would be dry, and then she would wear it again and she would wash it from hand because she was so poor. When she was dating her husband, Murray, they would go for a walk, and that was courting. You go for a walk and then pick a flower and you go a courting. It meant going for a walk. You went to courting, right? Or were invited for Sunday lunch to meet the family, right? So he talked about the fact that she had one dress and it was always clean because she would always wash it that night before going to bed. And in the morning, it would be dry. But she built a nation. It didn't turn out like she had hoped because crazy people took over, right? But she lived a very meaningful life, right? Just as Bernie Sanders people lived a very meaningful life. It wasn't necessarily a life of luxury, but it was a life of profound meaning. So a Six of Pentacles is also somebody who is in a position to try and create justice in the world. Six of Pentacles is about making sure that those that are worthy receive what they need. And just because you're living simply, it doesn't mean you're a loser. Golda Meir, Mahatma Gandhi were not losers. They accomplished great things in their life. They changed the world. They built nations. But they were not materialistic, and they didn't get wrapped up with keeping up with the Joneses. If you're someone who wants beautiful things in your home, that's absolutely fine. You should take pride in yourself, pride in your care, and pride in your home. But you can do that without breaking the bank. You can learn to do for yourself. You can buy things at Habitat for Humanity or the local thrift store or on Amazon Marketplace. There are ways to create heaven on earth without getting conned into going broke and going into debt. But the first house of the 10 of Cups is a message to you to establish strong family ties, right? And your crossing card is nothing is more important than your health, strength. We've talked in the past about the idea that everything in the physical world has a spiritual counterpart. Alcohol can cause depression. So can marijuana, right? These are depressants. Whereas when you have a well-fed brain and your blood sugar is balanced, you tend to become a happier person because your brain is working properly. This is another reason why we encourage people to go predominantly plant-based. No, you don't have to be a vegan. Edgar Casey said get to 80%. You know that? That was over 100 years ago. Edgar Casey said get to 80%. 80% whole foods, plant-based. And then back in his day, it was all organic. The other 20% can be lean, organic animal products, right? But your number one priority should be your health, because everything flows from there. Everything flows from how healthy you are. When the health goes, everything else goes. How do we heal ourselves? We start with the basics. We start with the most basic fundamental parts of saving ourselves, what we put in our body. Learning how to make lentil soup, learning how to make vegetables. You know how easy and cheap it is to make lentil soup? You buy a can of tomatoes, saute it in a little olive oil if you got, or if you don't want to use oil, you can just saute it without oil. Add some pepper in there, salt if you got it, a little bit of salt or not. If you're trying to avoid salt, put some garlic in there, add some water, throw in some chopped potatoes and some of those frozen vegetables, peas, corn, and green beans. Boil it down, there you go, vegetable soup. There you go. Salt, pepper, garlic, frozen mixed vegetables, can of tomatoes. I throw in a potato. Have that with some whole grain toast. Don't go crazy on the butter. A little bit of butter is okay. Couple slices of cheese. Don't go crazy on it. And then you've gotten to 80-20. And you've had a very nice lunch. Got yourself a little bit of that Kroger's cheese, right? It's cheaper, and I think it's the Tillamook brand, but tastes the same. Don't go above 2 ounces, Don't smother it with cheese. Have a couple big bowls of that vegetable soup. You spent maybe $1. Sound good? You can do this. How about a lentil soup? Boil some lentils. Throw in some carrots and onions and whatnot. Throw in a little bit of curry powder. Throw in some tomato. Voila. You got a nice curry. Make it nice and thick. Put it on some rice. A little bit of low-fat yogurt if you are so inclined. That'll run you less than $1. You can do this. What is above you is you must make a decision now. The judgment is over you. What are you going to do to create heaven on earth? Are we going to sit around and bitch and moan about the other guy, or are we going to create heaven on earth for ourselves and then share it with the world? Which is a better use of your time and your life? Who did you save today? Start with yourself. Yes, mung beans. I just ordered 2 pounds of mung beans for $9. And it's very easy to digest for those people who have trouble digesting beans. And you want to make sure you're, adding some curry powder. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Throw in some veggies. I think that they say the base should always be celery, onions, and carrots. That's the triad. They're cheap all year round. So when we think about cheap vegetables, we're thinking about carrots, onions, celery, and potatoes. And every broke aristocrat should have that in their home. I love the bread from Dave's Killer Bread, but a lot of people, it's too expensive and they can't afford it. And so I would recommend you make your own bread and use a standard whole wheat recipe. sweetened with either melassa or honey. And then to the bread, for additional nutritional support, you can throw in some ground flax or nuts. Raw pumpkin seeds or sunflower seeds are inexpensive, and that way you'll be getting the same type of bread, but it's going to be $1.50 a loaf versus $5 a loaf. Yeah. So judgment is above us. It's all about health. Don't let yourself get locked in. Don't put yourself in situations where you feel trapped emotionally, financially, etc. Build a world that is based on justice. Disseminate the good to others. We see you moving in a different direction as you become enlightened. Oh, I got to start with myself. Did you floss? Did you floss your teeth? Be honest. Do you brush your teeth 2-3 times a day? Do you eat to live? Did you create a community where people can come together, or are you part of a community where people can come together and share simple meals and friendship? We used to have a deck of cards or Monopoly. God, that was fun. Everybody gets together, it's a potluck, and then people would call, what do you need? Well, we need a dessert. Watermelon? I'll pick up a watermelon. Fantastic. I'll make the vegan tacos, right, with tempeh. Oh my God, those are so good, right? Everybody contributes something. Somebody brings the rice and beans, right? We'll do a taco night. I make a nice iced tea from my herbal tea extraordinaire, and we break out a deck of cards and we play gin rummy or Monopoly, right? Now that's living, right? And then we talk about how we're going to save the world. That's living. What we're coming out of. The strong woman of boundaries. The Queen of Wands is based on the most ancient archetype, which is Oshun. Her symbol is the sunflower. She's the optimist. The sun will come out tomorrow. Her dress is yellow gold. She loves the finer things in life, but she was poor. She used to have to wash the same dress every day, and it got yellow, right? That's one of the stories of Oshun, but she loves the beautiful things in life. Sweet honey, which is also yellow, the sweet things in life. She has boundaries, my way or the highway, my space, boom, boom, right? And you're entering into the time of sterility, purity, cleanliness, hygiene, discipline. The King of Swords is the scientist, the disciplinarian, typified by Obatala, right? Obatala. Actually, no, Ogun, excuse me. Ogun is King of Swords. Work, discipline. He is an ice sculptor. He is blue ice. Hard discipline. So embracing discipline. It starts with the most basic thing, which is to heal your mental capacities. We want to start with healing our mental capacities. And then I always tell people, start with your diet. Start with your diet. Because that will impact your brain, and you'll start, I feel fantastic on this diet. And then you'll be motivated to do more. Well, I've got the energy now to clean my house. I've got a goal. I'm going to clean this thing from top to bottom. But always go back to the basics. What did you eat today? Then talk about did you brush your hair? Then you can add to it. Did you brush your hair? Did you clean yourself properly? Did you floss? Where you're at right now, you're entering into a time of mastery. The master comes to you, which is the Seven of Pentacles. All that hard work that you have done up to this point has brought you to this moment. All that suffering, all those annoying little things that happened, all those books you read, all those classes you took have brought you to this moment with Dr. Whimsy and these people so that we could have this conversation. Your previous actions have brought you to this moment. And this is the moment where you achieve mastery. And with that mastery, you will save the world. Because the base of the matter is the salvation of the world, which is the Six of Pentacles. It is to give back to the world and to create justice in the world. And where you are at right now is mastery. But you lost your way. You lost your way. I lost my way. We got taken out by media telling us the world was coming to an end. You're the world. I'm the world. This is our world. It's not coming to an end. You have arrived at this moment in this situation for a reason. And the reason is because you are ready for mastery. You have graduated. Do you understand what Spirit is saying to you right now? You graduated. You have achieved more than you realize, and you survived for this moment. So the Eight of Pentacles is with you, and you begin the discipline of the King of Swords, and you are in the mode of mastery. You have mastered good nutrition. You have mastered that dirty kitchen. You have flossed those teeth, right? You have begun with the basics of self-care so that you can go out and give it back to the world. Your opposition at this time is the money man, the manipulator, the guy with the coin. You know, your life really isn't that meaningful because you didn't buy a Ferrari. You're not one of us. You're one of life's little people, right? Do you think that Golda Meir was ashamed when she walked in to meet Eleanor Roosevelt in one dress? One dress. Do you think that people were shaming her? Look at her. She only got one dress. No. They understood that she was part of something greater than herself, right? So somebody had seen her in Europe, and she was in a part of France where she was trying to get boats out to save the Jews that were going to be exterminated in the death camps. And the British were blocking the Jews from escaping. And when Jewish people landed in Israel, the British were sending them back to die in the death camps of Europe. And so she said, I will build a port in Jaffa. I will build my own port. And that's what she did. So she went all over the world and she raised money in one dress. That's the dress that she courted in. She washed it every night. She just had one dress. And yet, they think she saved about 500,000 lives. Here's the dress again. One dress. See, she got some more dress. There it is again, the same dress. She was able to buy a couple more dresses. There she is again, same dress. So the point is this. She was able to save 500,000 lives, and she wasn't worried about the dress. It was clean, right? We're worrying about the wrong things. we're worrying about the wrong things, and we're not prioritizing the important work. Are you here to keep up with the Joneses, or are you here to master your purpose in life? You're here to master your purpose in life. So do not be pulled. His purpose in life is to get your money, right? Your purpose is something else. He stands in the 8th house as your opposition, the money man. Oh, you need to give me your money, or you got to join this group and that group, and then give me money, 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 right? Hopes and fears that everything is falling apart. It will if you let them define you. And your final outcome is the King of Wands, who seeks justice absolute. And he is associated with the Orisha Chango. And we've talked about Chango, right? Chango is the Orisha who fights for justice absolute. But you got to have energy, and you've got to be able to take care of yourself in order to be like Chango. You can imagine that Chango has some great self-care. He brings lightning and thunder and the Tower of Justice, right? If we as a world remain imbalanced, not able to see what is important, self-care and aligning ourselves with a way of life that is in keeping with helping Gaia rather than hurting her. These are early images of him. These are the first images of the King of Wands. If we don't prioritize what's important, then we will lose the planet, right? So it's important to remember what the priority is. The clarification is Two of Pentacles, trying to balance it all financially, etc., and the opposition leaves you confused. So too much energy out there and not enough energy on your own work. Your hope and fear of being able to walk away from everything. And your final outcome is you're going to be okay financially if you follow this path. Mastery is the path. You know, Golda Meir did not starve to death, right? And neither will you, if you remember, you know, to get right with your priorities. Seven of Pentacles is also abundance. The earth is coming back, and the earth is coming back in a really big way because everybody is moving towards the new green economy, eco-friendly businesses. And for that reason, we needn't fear for Gaia. But this is a spiritual lesson for all of us, that our internal world is reflected in the external world. As we become imbalanced, eat junk food, which affects our brain, our bodies, etc., we see the entire world getting sick. When we start to take care of ourselves, buy things with less plastic in them, minimize our lives, prioritize simple self-care so that we have the energy to write that book that's going to help people, right? Or serve the community in ways that are going to make the world a better place. Our mission is ultimately the Six of Pentacles, which is to balance and create that which is right. That is more important than the outside noise. And so that is the reading today. I hope it gave some clarity to all of you on your journey. Thank you for listening. All right, it looks like we've got a couple new members, and we want to honor them. If I can just find them. We thank you, Susan Johnson. You got a lovely song. We already sang it to you, and we hope you enjoyed listening to it. Let's see who else we got here. We've got 351 beautiful people here spending time with us. Thank you so much for being here. We're very grateful. All right, let's see. There was somebody else here I want to make sure to acknowledge. I'll find you. I'll find you. I'll find you. Don't worry. Hold your horses. Hold your horses. You're around here somewhere. Amber Ralt 5438. Amber Ralt 5438. Amber Alt. Is that right? Amber Alt? Okay, Amber Alt. We can make a song from that, right? Amber Alt 5438. Amber Alt 5438. We want to welcome you. We want to welcome you. We want to say hello. We want to lift you up and welcome you to our family. Amber Alt 5438. Thank you. Thank you for your membership. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being a light unto the nations. I think there was somebody else here and I passed you by. And I apologize. I'm going to have to go back and try and find you. I think we had a third person join today. Or am I mistaken? Never want to take anybody for granted, including those of you who are not able to join. That's okay. I acknowledge you too. I'm trying to get to everybody. Hi, Pixel Wizard. Let's see. Did I get to everyone? Am I missing something, folks? No, it was just two people? Yeah, just two people. Okay. So welcome, Amber. Welcome, Amber. Let's go ahead and do some blitzes. It is 12:32. We're started a little late today because oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for the song. I only saw two. Okay, thank you. Debbie Brady, creative director extraordinaire. She is the creative director who helped create the fan pages over at YouTube. Thank you so much, Debbie. They're absolutely beautiful. We've got some cool people over there if you ever decide to join our fan pages. And she also did some great designing here. I haven't been using the backdrop that much lately because I tend to find it interrupts, makes it harder to see the cards. Hi, Nigel. How you doing? Hi, Connie Wagner. Good to see you. Renee Ammett is in the house. Jeannie Ferrati. Good to see you. All right. We're moving along here. Hello, Nydia Bronstrup. Hello and shalom. And we've got 47650 here. That's cool. And we got Anita Garden in the house. We got Rockin' Pony Lady. That's cool. Siobhan is in the house. Hello, Siobhan. Good to see you here. Oh, Chango. Oh, and King of Oyo. Oh, yes. Oh, open air concentration camps. I don't think so, but you're right. Britain screwed everyone over. Blame the British. They screw everything up. Mary Thornberry, hello. Dirty clothes, yes. Start with making yourself a good nutrient-dense meal. Yeah, so soil is still doing good, but do what you can. You will benefit, I promise. Thank you very much, Madge Brit 1000. Okay, let's go ahead and do some blitzes. Shalom, Harish B. One lose. It's amazing how many people don't blame the British for Palestine, you know. The early founders, Golda Meir and Ben Gurion didn't want to have their own country. You know that, right? Palestine used to be Turkey. It was a Turkish part of Turkey. Yeah, everybody was Turkish. They just wanted to be part of Turkey and have Turkey allow Jewish people to live there to avoid the pogroms. And then after World War I, Britain took over and started getting everybody to fight. But yeah, if it had remained under Turkey, everybody would have just been kumbaya. They would have they were trying to make it work in Turkey. A lot of people think that Turkey should come back in. And that's, Britain, they did the same thing in India, right? They got the Muslims and Hindus to kill each other. And This is the history of hegemony of Britain, right? Is to get everybody to kill each other. World War II broke out. No, World War I broke out. Ben Gurion was in Istanbul, the first prime minister of the state of Israel. Yeah, he was becoming a lawyer. He felt that Jews needed to become part of the Ottoman Empire. He was a true lover of the Ottomans. He wanted to be an Ottoman, and he was becoming a lawyer so that they could all become parts of the great Ottoman Empire. And then after World War I, it collapsed, and Britain started doing what Britain always does, same thing that they did in the Boer War in South Africa. You know, this is what they did in Africa. This is what they do everywhere, the British, what they did in India, which is why we now have nuclear weapons pointed at each other in Pakistan and India. That is all the byproduct of the British. This is what Britain does. They get everybody to hate each other. This is the history of Britain. And it goes on and on and on and on and on. And nobody ever stops and takes a moment and says, wait a minute, we got along okay in Spain, Jews and Muslims. What the hell are we doing? There was a vibrant Jewish community in Algeria. What the hell is this shit? And break the cycle that is part of the hegemony of Britain. Right? This is Britain for you. They love to get everybody to fight, right? And so it's part of the bloody history of Britain, particularly under Victoria. All right. So if we're going to blitz away, let's start with the first question from Joel Tilson, our floor director. Was the Putin-Trump summit a scheme to distract from the Epstein files? Well, a lot of people feel that Trump is just falling apart, that he's become a senile old man that talks to himself. He can't walk a straight line. And who knows what the hell is going on, but we'll do 4 cards and see what we get. Healing. Opposition mastery. Hopes and fears. The devil. Final outcome is death. Nothing will come of it. Remember when we did the cards last week, we said that it would be a flop. Now the world is getting behind Zelensky. And there's another meeting coming where Zelensky is going to be meeting with world leaders. And so the only thing that is happening is that Trump is further isolating the United States. He's not doing what's best for the United States. He's isolating the United States from the rest of the world. And in no way will this be good for the United States. So Zelensky will be flanked by European leaders at White House meeting with Trump. So these are the European leaders that are going to be coming out, standing with Zelensky, because they understand that Putin is an existential threat. Yeah. So America needs to get, control of Trump, because if America doesn't get control of Trump, the world will get control of Trump. That's the bottom line. You can see here, healing is needed and masters coming in. This is the masters card. We've talked about that. A codependent or an addictive relationship will change. It's like Trump needs to step aside. I just keep feeling like he's sick. Walking away from a broken man is how I see this. 5 of Pentacles is to walk away from a situation that impoverishes us. There's Zelensky's card, over mastery. King of Wands coming in. I'm seeing more war laying ahead, but ultimately trade opens up. What's interesting is that Putin is a pariah. He was not always a pariah, but he has really become a pariah. So Trump and Putin are pariahs living in their own private Idaho. I'm seeing war. I'm seeing war and eventually trade opening up. But I'm also seeing Putin and Trump becoming increasingly isolated. Yeah. How will Putin react once the Peace for Land plan is rejected? Well, how can he? He has no more money. He's going to have to walk away. The only outcome for Putin is the same. And who even knows if that was the real Putin? Like, part of me thinks that they brought a double. That guy didn't even look like Putin. Let's take a look at old pictures of Putin. Putin, 1990. Let's do 2000. When did he start using doubles? We'll do 1998. Here he is when he stabbed Yeltsin in the back. Remember that? Here's a physical image of him. Let's compare, because he was acting strange and refusing to talk. And I'm like, is this really Putin? Or you can see here he is. Here's his bone structure. His nose is very specific. Look at his lips. Let's see what we got going on here. Let's look at him a little bit. Let's look at 2004. I think 2004, we should still have the same original Putin. He's a very good looking man, the guy that the guy that liked to pet people, right? That was what they said about him. Putin's petting parties, right? A lot of women. He had a lot of women. I guess he had a reputation for being a very gentle lover who liked to pet women. That's what women would say. He's so nice. He pets you. The things you find out from hairdressers. I met a hairdresser who was part of the Miss Universe pageant, and evidently all the women were running to get pet by Putin. But so he has a very specific nose. You can see blue eyes. Got the hair going lost there. Yeah, that nose is okay. Really a good-looking guy. So let's see if Putin and Trump, if it's the same guy, because let me ask you guys what you think. And I'm not a conspiracy guy. He openly admits that he has doubles, and there's been many of them. But is this the same guy? Part of me is just not sure. And he was acting goofy and embarrassed, like he couldn't answer the questions, like it was one of his doubles being sent in. And the behavior was so strange and so awkward and so not the confidence we associate with Putin that I was beginning, is this Putin? Or is this somebody else? I don't know. I'm on the fence with this. I just don't know. What do you guys think? You guys have any opinions about this? Do you think this is the original Putin, or do you think that he brought somebody else in? It wouldn't surprise me if he had, because had brought somebody else in, because he fears assassination so much, particularly on U.S. soil, I would think. So I don't think it would be so far-fetched for him to bring somebody else in that could smile, and I just don't know. I don't know what to think. Have you guys heard about this, his doubles? He's got a lot of them. Somebody documented his doubles. Putin's doubles. For concerned about assassination, so he could have had somebody show up for a couple of hours, wave and act goofy, and couldn't really respond to any of the questions because I'm not really Putin. And so here are some of his doubles. Like who? This guy is not acting like Putin. I don't think this is a wild conspiracy because these are all doubles. These are all his doubles. The one here is the real one, right? This guy is fake over here on the far right. That doesn't look anything like the original. Look at the wideness of the face. It's like, who are these people? What do you guys think? Do you think the real Putin? I mean, I just don't know. You can't call it a conspiracy theory because it's open information that he sends doubles. Particularly when they have to eat something, right? He's having a health challenge. I know that. There's Putin. He's the King of Swords. Final outcome. He gets his wish. He was happy with the meeting. He's going to be stabbed in the back. I'm telling you, Putin is going to get betrayed. He's going to hang it up. I'm telling you, Putin is going to have to hang it up. I don't know. What do you guys think? I do think the real Putin met with his friend DJ2, heard about his doubles. This may be the last time they see each other in person. Maybe he's taking happy pills. It looked like 2 planes flew in, but I guess one had some of his other people. The press, which, by the way, did you guys see how they treated the Russian press? They had them in cots. They made some tuna fish and threw some stuff on the ground like potato chips and let them pick through it. I just think that that's really ridiculous. Yeah. It was the real Trump. Did you see how he was swaying back and forth also, Trump? Like he didn't know where he was or something. Yeah, I don't know. Putin is, you wonder if that was him. It was very strange behavior. I'm thinking it was his body movements and everything else did not look like Putin to me. Yeah. It's possible, but wouldn't he relish being the one who steps on American soil to shame the Americans? I don't know. I'd be scared as hell to come to the United States if I was him. I would send a double. Yeah, couldn't tell. Yeah, no potlucks during the COVID. Yeah, that's true. Absolutely true. His ears look higher. Yeah, that's the way. I've never seen him act like that. Yeah, Edgar Casey had some really good stuff. Oh, good. Dancing is important. Yeah. Napoleonic complex. Was it Putin himself or a double who met with Trump in Alaska? Yeah, that's the ultimate question. He was acting pretty strange, and I've never seen Putin act like that in a press conference. He always commands it. And I think it was him meeting with Trump when he handed him the ball, and yeah. All right. Michael Cohen and his involvement to intimidate young women as Trump's fixer, as per interview I saw, as he denied and became very defensive. No, he was intimidating a lot of people. He took out the garbage for him. Isn't that what he said? I took out his garbage. I'm the garbage collector. He was intimidating people. I'm going to go to your house and I'm going to ABC. Ten of Pentacles, keeping the family secrets. Ace of Wands, bully. A bully. Strong partnership. Ace of Swords. So he was a bully. He was a bully to keep the partnership alive and to help. He helped him get elected. The bottom line is that Cohen helped Trump get elected. He helped suppress people who had been abused. He bullied them, Ace of Wands, and he helped get him elected. Helped keep him out of jail. Catch and kill. He helped with the catch and kill with Pecker. The other thing is that you get the impression that he is somebody who has actively worked to keep his own secrets regarding just how bad it was, some of the things that he did. He's not forthcoming. He has a sanitized version of himself in order to not make public everything he's done. Yeah. All right, you guys, we've been here for about an hour and a half talking, so I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to go have something to eat. Thank you, everyone, for being here and hanging with me. I hope you had a good time having brunch together. If you're trying to get in for a tarot reading with me, you can book it through Booksy. All right, be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. God bless. Peace out, and I will see you all next time. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Hi, Intuitive Kathy. All right. Bye, loves.